Hey everyone, Erick Stakelbeck here. This week on the Watchman Newscast, it's a nightmare scenario that we've talked about for years. What if Saudi Arabia's oil production was disrupted by a major terrorist attack? Well, that just happened. Find out what it means for the Middle East, for the world, and for you this week, only right here on the Watchman Newscast. Hey everyone, I just returned from an incredible Watchman production trip to Iraqi Kurdistan. Much to share there, but I was barely off the plane and back on the ground in the United States on Saturday, September 14th, when news broke of a major terrorist attack against Saudi Arabia's oil facilities. Now, the Houthi rebels in Yemen, who are the Houthis? They are a radical, Iran-backed, surprise, surprise, Shia militia that has wreaked havoc over the past few years in Yemen, which is directly to the south of Saudi Arabia. They claimed credit for this major terrorist attack, which has disrupted some 5% of the world's oil supply. Now, that's a big deal. The Saudis are saying they'll get things back to normal over the next few weeks, but for now, their oil output is disrupted as a result of this terrorist attack. That could mean very bad things for me and for you, no matter where you live, because oil and gas prices could skyrocket if these kinds of terror attacks continue. And what did the attack consist of? We told you the Houthis claimed credit, but a very interesting wrinkle here. The Trump administration is saying there is no evidence that Yemen's Houthi rebels carried out this attack. They say that it was the Iranian regime, the Houthis' patron and main supplier. The Iranian regime, according to Trump administration officials, fired some 12 cruise missiles from Iranian territory and sent at least 20 explosive-laden drones into Saudi Arabia to attack these oil facilities. And I'm sad to say that it was a very successful attack. Again, some 5% of the world's oil supply has been disrupted as a result of what looks like an Iranian attack against Saudi Arabia. So what does this latest provocation, this latest escalation from the Iranian regime in its terror war across the Middle East, what does it all mean? Well, it means, number one, that the Iranian regime has its back against the wall and that U.S. sanctions are working. The Iranians are feeling the pinch, they're feeling the squeeze economically, and not surprisingly, they are lashing out. The attack in Saudi Arabia over the weekend is just the latest escalation in really a series of attacks that we've seen since June, where the Iranians have kidnapped oil tankers, they've kidnapped ships in the Straits of Hormuz, they have shot down a U.S. drone. Not only that, as we discussed here previously on the Watchman Newscast, the Iranian regime attempted to launch some drones, some deadly explosive-laden drones from Syria into Israel, kind of upping their provocation there against the Jewish state. So the Iranian regime is lashing out against the country it refers to as the Great Satan, the United States, the Little Satan, Israel, and also those Sunni Arab states, like in particular Saudi Arabia, that the Iranian regime sees as infidels basically and tools of the West. And folks, as this all sort of shapes up and this Middle East Cold War turns hot, here is the interesting thing to remember. The Sunni Arab states, I'm talking about Egypt, Jordan, Saudi Arabia, the UAE, the Gulf states, they see that the threat in the region is not Israel. The threat is that growing Iranian superpower with, look, the Assad regime, Hezbollah, and Hamas in that Iranian orbit, in that Iranian axis, on the march across the region from Yemen, which we mentioned, through the Houthis, on through Iraq, where I just was, and where, look, the Kurds are very concerned about Iranian influence. More on that in a second. Then you have Syria, where Iran has a puppet in Bashar al-Assad. And then, of course, you have Lebanon, which is home to Iran's most dangerous proxy, Hezbollah, which has some 150,000 rockets and missiles pointed at every inch of Israel, and which, by the way, has a pretty robust global operation, including right here where I'm sitting in the Western Hemisphere. So here's two closing thoughts for you. Number one, when I think of the Iranian regime and the Iranian Revolutionary Guards Corps and their external operations across the Middle East and across the world, I think of one man, And we've called him here the most dangerous man in the Middle East. That's right, Qasem Soleimani, that Iranian Revolutionary Guard's Brigadier General, a very dangerous man who's been behind a whole lot of the chaos that you're seeing right now in the Middle East. I have no doubt that he helped to engineer this attack against those Saudi oil facilities. And a second closing point here, my time in Iraqi Kurdistan. Look, folks, I was on the Iraq-Iran border, a place really that few American civilians have set foot since the 1979 Iranian Revolution. I was with the Kurdish Peshmerga, and I can tell you the main refrain I heard from them time and time again, including from generals in the Kurdish Peshmerga, was that the Iranian regime is on the march in Iraq. That means that Iran has filled the vacuum left when the ISIS caliphate was crushed by the Peshmerga with help from U.S. and coalition air power. Now Iran has moved in and filled that vacuum in places like Mosul and beyond through proxy, like they always do, whether it's Hezbollah, Hamas, Palestinian Islamic Jihad. In Iraq as well, the Houthis in Yemen, who we mentioned earlier, but in Iraq as well, the Iranian regime is using Shia militias. Remember, we're bringing you these cutting-edge, hard-hitting news updates every week right here on YouTube at the Watchman Newscast. So please subscribe to our channel, give us a big thumbs up, and like what we are doing. And while you're at it, watch the Watchman TV show every Friday night on TBN. It's the world's largest Christian television network. 10:30 p.m. Eastern, 9:30 p.m. Central, 7:30 p.m. Pacific on TBN. It's our 30-minute Watchman television show. Last request, Christians United for Israel. CUFI, we are America's largest pro-Israel organization, over 7 million members growing every day. Give us a shout there at CUFI.org. Call, click, join us today. Join this incredible movement. And I have to say, what a thrill it was for me as a Christian, as a supporter of Israel, as a proud American, as a fierce critic, and rightfully so, of the Iranian regime, to be on the Iraq-Iran border, to be looking in to Iran, and to be giving at the same time a call to action for Christians United for Israel. God certainly has a sense of humor to put me in that situation, and thank God He will never leave us nor forsake us, because I felt very safe. I was able to come home here to the United States safely after I was really able to get a hold of these incredible reports in Iraqi Kurdistan, which you'll see very soon coming up starting on October 4th, 2019 on TBN, 10:30 p.m. Eastern on the Watchman TV show. In the meantime, as you can see, the Middle East never sleeps. The Saudi attack is just the latest in a series of major escalations and provocations by the Iranian regime. We'll be keeping you up to date on all of it, making sense of it all, and why it matters to you each Thursday right here on the Watchman Newscast. So until next time, thanks for joining us. God bless you, and remember, never hold your peace.